Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Charan. In this video tutorial, I will explain in Django web application how to display data from a database into a list view element. See here, now we got the final output. The header X, after that, these are the data displaying in the list view console from this database. If you notice here, the records are displaying in the ascending order. If you want to display the descending order, you check the output. So now here the data is displaying in the descending order. If you are a first time visitor to my channel, please subscribe to get the latest updates. Before creating a new Django web application, first we'll create a new folder in local disk D drive. I click the mouse, select new, then select folder. Let's give the folder name Listview Django. Let's browse this folder. Right now this folder is empty. Now let's create a new Django web application in this folder. I'm using Visual Studio Code to create a new Django web application, but before that, let's add the folder which we have created in the local disk D drive. Go to File and select Open Folder, and let's select our folder name is Listview Django. Select folder, and the folder is successfully added to our Visual Studio Explorer panel. At the right side, we got the welcome page. Let's close that welcome page. Now let's create a new Django web application in this folder. For that, go to View, then select Terminal. Now in the terminal, which is nothing but a command prompt, if you notice the path is the Listview Django, which is our project folder name, and the path is a D drive. Let's create a Django application, Django-admin start project, and the project name is Listview Display. Listview Display is my application name. Click enter. And the application is created successfully. Let's expand this Listview Display. The application, if you notice, in this application contains one subfolder with the same application name and one manage.py. Let me expand the subfolder also. Now in the subfolder, there are some Python files, settings.py, urls.py. All these Python files and folders has been created automatically when I create this project Listview Display. Now before writing the coding part to display data from database into Listview element, first let's browse this application is working properly or not. Let's copy this application name, cd. I'm adding my application name to the path, enter. After that, let's run the web server, python manage.py run server, enter. And after I run the server, notice we don't have any issues in our application, and below that this is our web server link. Control plus mouse click, let's browse this application, and here we got the default output of our application, which is our Django web page. Now I can switch back to the coding part. Now first, let's add a new templates folder to add our HTML pages. And right click the application name, click new folder, and the folder name is a templates, enter. Now here in the templates folder, I am adding my HTML pages. So again, right click the templates folder, select new file. Now the file name is the index.html, enter. And here we got our index.html page. After that, we'll add one models page. Select the subfolder of the application, right click the mouse, click new file. The file name is a models.py, enter. And here we got our models.py page. Now in this models.py page, the Python page contains a class with some properties and our table name. So before adding the creating the class in this models page, let's visit my PHP MyAdmin database, which is MySQL database. We'll check the table and the column names. I just logged into my PHP MyAdmin database. The table name is the EMP details, which contains 4 columns: ID, EMP name, email, and salary. I want to bind this data display into a list view element using Django and Python. So then switch back to the coding part. Now before creating a class, first we'll import the necessary class from django.db import models class. After that, let's define a class. The class name is the display list view lb is my class name. Now in this class I'm adding models.model, M is capital here, model colon. Now let's define the properties. In our table we have 4 columns. The ID column is the auto-generated column, so I'm not adding that one. The EMP name, email, and salary, let's add those ones. EMP name is equals to models dot char field max underscore length is equals to 100. Let's copy this one. The second one is after EMP name we have the email, and the last one is the salary is equals to models dot integer field Then after adding the properties, next let's add the table also. Again define a class. Now this class is a meta class. This meta class contains db underscore table is equals to, with double quotes, let's add our table name. Our table name is the EMP details. Copy that one and paste here. That's it. In this models page we have defined one class, properties, and the table name. Let's save this file, save all. After that we'll add the views page. Again right click the subfolder, click new file. The file name is views.py, enter, and here we got our views.py Python page. In this views page, before adding the logic to display all the records, first we'll import the necessary classes from Django.shortcuts import. I'm importing render class. This render class is helpful when we want to browse our indexed HTML pages. We require this render class. Then we require the class from this models page. So let's copy this class name from this models page. Again switch to the views. Then from our models page is inside our list view display. So let's add that one, list view display dot the class name import sorry, here not the class name, here the models. Here we have to add the class name from this models page. Now let's define a function display data. The function name request request colon. Now this function return, I want to render requesting the web template page, which is our index.html. So add that one, index.html. Now in this index.html I want to display the EMP name, email, and salary from this EMP details. So let's declare a variable results is equals to display RECLV, which is the class name of the models, dot objects dot all method. Then let's define a dictionary between curly brackets, double quotes. So I'm adding my class name, which is the key. Here the key is the class name and the value is this one, the results. The results I want to display on the index.html from this class. That's it. Let's save this file. After that, we have to configure the URL patterns also. For that, we open urls.py, and here we got our urls.py. The first most important step, we need to import our views page. So dot import views page. Then in the path patterns, URL patterns, add the path, single quotes. Now this page is my default web page of our application. So views dot our index.html. I want to render this index.html with the help of this display data function. So let's add that one, the function name. That's it. Let's save this file. Save all. After configuring the URL patterns, now the next step, the most important step, open settings.py. In the settings.py, first in the install_apps section, we need to add the application name. So between single quotes, Listview display is my application name. Then in the templates, when we want to render our HTML pages, we need to join our templates folder with the base directory. So here os.path.join method, base directory, comma, between single quotes, I'm adding my templates folder. This folder I'm adding all our HTML pages is inside this templates folder. Now come to the bottom, the most important section is the databases. Now we have to configure our database sections. If you notice here, the default database is a SQL library for the Django applications. So let's delete this one. Instead of SQL library, add MySQL. Then here the name, between single quotes, we need to add our database name. So I can switch back to our PHP myadmin. The database name is the sample DB. Let's add that one, sample DB. Next one is the user between single quotes. I'm adding root. Then the password, I'm adding the password here. I don't have any password to log into my PHP myadmin database, so I'm leaving blank here. If you have any password, please enter between the single quotes. The next one is the host. Here the host is the local host, between single quotes, local host. Comma. Then we require the port number of our server. Here port number is a 3306. If you don't know the SQL port number, is this one. My SQL port number is a 3306. Then the last one is the options colon between curly brackets init_command colon, again single quotes, and let's add here double quotes here. The double quotes I'm setting the SQL_more. I'm setting SQL more between single quotes, strict_trans_tables. That's it. Let's save this file. Save all. Now the final step, let's call that model here. Let's add the doc type. Doc type, I'm closing the HTML tag. Inside the HTML, I'm adding the header section. In the header section, I'm adding the title, and the title is display data into list view. Now, after the header section, I'm adding the body tag. And this is a body. I'm closing the body tag. Now inside the body, I'm adding center tag. Let's add the headings h1, how to display records from MySQL PHP admin database into Listview. H3 Django web tutorials. After the heading text, I'm adding horizontal line. Now after the horizontal line, to display the list view, I'm adding the UL. UL is the unordered list. In the unordered list, I'm adding list items. So before that, let's import percentage for loop. I'm adding for loop. Display data is the object in. I'm getting the data from this models class. Copy that one and paste here. Let's close the for loop and for percentage. The list items li. In our table we have 4 columns: ID, EMP name, email, and salary. So here first one is the ID colon between double curly brackets display data dot ID, and the next one list item and the EMP name. Yes, EMP name only. So here the employee name colon double curly brackets. In this expression, I'm adding display data, which is our object dot EMP name. The column name we have to add li email, again double curly brackets display data dot email, and the last one li salary colon, again between double curly brackets. In this expression, I am adding the display data dot salary. That's it. And also what I'm doing, I'm adding one horizontal line. So the next record, I will get one small horizontal line between the 2 records, between the rows. That's it. Let's save this file. Save all. Here we got an error. Let's check that one. Set the SQL mode. This is not column, this is equals to. Sorry for that. Let's save this file. Save all. So after run the server, we don't have any issues. Below that is our web server link. We have already opened here our Django web application. Let's refresh that one. And here we got the output. So notice we got some small mistake here, and then switch back to index.html. So here we don't add the double curly brackets. Again, sorry for that. Let's put this center tag after the horizontal line. That's it. I hope this time it will work successfully. Save all. Switch back to the browser. Now I'm reloading the browser. See here, now we got the final output. The header tags. After that, these are the data displaying in the list view console from this database. If you notice here, the records are displaying in the ascending order. If you want to display the descending order, switch to the coding part, go to views.py. So here, instead of all, order underscore by between double quotes ID. I want to display the ascending orders. The column name is ID minus ID. So let's save file again and check the output. So now here the data is displaying in the descending order.